Welcome back to News USA. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie had some pretty strong words for President Trump and his legal team earlier today in an interview. Let's take a look at the video.
The president's response was to attack Pat Toomey on Twitter. Is it finally time for this to end?
Yes. And here's the reason why. The president has had an opportunity to access the courts. And I said to you, George, starting at 2:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, if you've got the evidence of fraud, present it. And what's happened here is, quite frankly, the conduct of the president's legal team has been a national embarrassment. Sidney Powell accusing Governor Brian Kemp of a crime on television, yet being unwilling to go on TV and defend and lay out the evidence that she supposedly has. This is outrageous conduct by any lawyer. And notice, George, they won't do it inside the courtroom. They allege fraud outside the courtroom, but when they go inside the courtroom, they don't plead fraud and they don't argue fraud. This is what I was concerned about at 2:30 in the morning on Wednesday night. Listen, I've been a supporter of the president's. I voted for him twice. But elections have consequences. And we cannot continue to act as if something happened here that didn't happen. You have an obligation to present the evidence. The evidence has not been presented. And you must conclude, as Tucker Carlson even concluded the other night, that if you're unwilling to come forward and present the evidence, it must mean the evidence doesn't exist. That's what I was concerned about starting on election night, and I remain concerned today. I think it's wrong. I think what you've heard lots of Republicans starting to say this. I said it on election night, and I hope more say it going forward, because the country is what has to matter the most. As much as I'm a strong Republican and I love my party, it's the country that has to come first.
Okay, so there was Chris Christie on ABC earlier this morning. As you heard, he had some pretty strong words for President Trump and his legal team. And Chris Christie is actually someone who is pretty close to President Trump, and President Trump actually has some respect for him. He actually offered him several jobs in his campaign and in his presidency. So it's not someone that is an adversary of President Trump. Let's take a look at the story here. This is from 2019, March 2019. Chris Christie said he turned down 7 jobs from Trump. Says he's not desperate for a title. So, like I said, this isn't somebody who is an adversary. This is someone who is close to Trump and who has had some type of relationship with him. He's now coming out and speaking against what's going on with these refutes of the election results. The last prominent Republican that we saw come out and speak up against what's going on was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney called the actions undemocratic. But there has been some sparring between the president and Mitt Romney in the past. There has been some other news released today. The Trump legal team is moving forward with other lawsuits, and we'll report on that later. But for now, stay tuned to News USA.